guys, it's Lily, and I'm back with my January Plan With Me video. So I just wanted to show you that I've added a couple pages to my 2020 section. Added an art ideas spot, books to read, movies to watch, and then I added a weight tracker section and a measurement section that's meant to be done kind of yearly. And I think this will be helpful to see how those change throughout the months instead of just tracking those things monthly, because it was harder to compare month to month if I was making any kind of progress or backtracking. So yeah, just added those and I wanted to show them to you. So on to my January cover page. This month I decided to do a FERN theme, and I had a lot of trouble coming up with the theme for this month. I really liked my 2020 spreads, and I wanted to continue with this sort of theme of freshness and growth, and I couldn't come up with the right thing. And I had thought of doing ferns a while ago, but didn't know how I would stretch the theme into kind of enough motifs for the whole month. So I just decided to go for it, and yeah, here we are. I think that for the most part it worked out. I really like how this cover page came together, and I did, I think, 3 or 4 practice paintings of different styles of ferns before I got to this point, because even though they're simple and kind of organic, getting the right texture on the leaves was really hard for me initially. But anyway, yeah, I think this worked out. You just kind of squiggle the brush back and forth and thin it out at the edges, and then kind of add in some different thicknesses here and there, and it comes out looking organic and fern-like. And yeah, I was trying to use a couple different green colors and adding in a little bit of a blue color, just so that it wouldn't be too one-dimensional. And then I wanted the leaf that's the branch, I don't know what you'd call that, the fern next to it. I wanted the fern next to it to kind of fade into the background a little bit. So I tried to go much later when I was painting this and did it in mostly a blue color, so that it was easy to tell them apart, basically. This month I debated whether or not I wanted to continue to paint on watercolor paper for my cover pages or just do it right in the Archer and Olive, but I find that when it's a larger piece like this and it's just watercolor, it still looks better on watercolor paper, but for smaller little details and stuff, I can paint right in the journal. On the left, I'm sticking with my monthly quote. This one says, "Your energy is currency. Spend it well, invest it wisely." I think sometimes I give too much energy to negative things or too much energy towards worrying. So I'm just trying to remind myself that there's only so much energy I have in a day, and I want to be spending that on working on getting better at things I'm interested in and reading, and yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting too much of my time anymore. And then I'm doing kind of a slightly different style of fern and just some leaf plant doodles around the quote. Whenever I do these quote pages, I want it to tie into the cover page without being like too much of a distraction. So that's why I'm not fully gonna paint it in, and I'm trying to keep the colors a little bit duller than the colors on the right side. And that's how it turned out. So onto my calendar page. Just adding a little bit of fern detailing in to fill in the blank spots of the calendar. And I was gonna write January, where I'm painting right now, on top, but I ended up really liking the simplicity of it, and obviously I know this is January because it's on the previous page, and yeah, it's just very clear, so I chose not to write it in this time. It's kind of funny when you realize that you've created rules for yourself when you're drawing or bullet journaling, and that like maybe you don't always have to do the thing that you think you do. So yeah, I don't need a January title. This is just for me. Yeah, so when I added in the days of the week, I definitely think if I had added a January title in the top left, it would have looked too busy and it would have been hard to read over the fern. So I'm happy with how it came out. I am sticking with my standard goals and notes section on the right hand side. And I just used a Tombow marker to highlight it, and for some reason the ink smeared, which normally doesn't happen to me with Tombow and micron pens, so I'm not sure what happened there, but it's not too bad, I guess. I thought stamps would go well with the fern theme. I've only used these one other time, and that first time I used them, it went really well, but for some reason, this time I messed up almost every single stamp. So I'm just trying to correct that here for my gratitude page. I don't know, I think the hand stamped look goes well with the theme of a fern. It seems kind of vintage, and I'm not sure. It just seemed like it went well together to me. So onto my habits page. This month I have more habits than I normally do. Normally I track my weight and my workouts on my habits page, but I have a separate workout tracker, and I'm tracking my weight as a yearly thing. So that meant that I had more room for habits. And then to fill the space in the bottom, I have another quote. It says we cannot become what we want by remaining who we are, or remaining what we are. So to this month, I added yoga. I'm doing yoga with Adrian's January yoga challenge, where you do a yoga video every day. And I added no alcohol, so I'm trying to cut back after the holidays. I just want to kind of see where I'm at with that. I added reading and no spending, and that's no spending not including food, because that would be kind of hard. Reading, I'm trying to say yes I read if it's probably like more than a half an hour. I also added dishes, just because I want to see how often I'm doing the dishes. I think I'm doing it every day, but it's interesting for me to see how often I'm doing that. It'd also be nice to have a clean sink every night when I go to bed, so that will encourage that if I'm tracking it. So last minute I decided to add some plants down here at the bottom, and I kind of think it looked better without them. Maybe it looks a little too busy down here. I don't know. What do you think? Should I have added the plants or no? So I lost my footage for these pages, but it's just an exercise log and a food log. My other workout tracker that I used to include on my habits page didn't give me enough information, and I've never tracked my food before. I just thought it would be interesting to see if, when I think I'm being healthy, am I really being healthy? Or if there's something that I eat a lot of. So I don't know, I'm giving that a try this month. These next two pages are my favorite recipe page, which I've been trying to do lately, and do kind of a little food illustration and the recipe. And then I decided to do my week one on a single page, so that I could fit in the next week nicely in my normal 2-page spread. But I actually liked having this, gave me much more room than I normally have, because it was just Wednesday through Sunday, and it was nice having more space to write stuff. So I'm considering changing up my weekly spreads. And I saw someone on Reddit who was doing daily spreads over 2 pages, and I might give that a try every now and again, especially because I think I have the room in this journal for that amount of pages. So I also might try doing a rolling weekly. We'll see. I think I'm ready to switch up my weekly spread, my standardized weekly spreads. Throughout this, when I was doing this, I kept erasing and then wrinkling the page. As you can see in the upper right corner, I was driving myself insane. I kept thinking, don't wrinkle the page, and then do it again. So when I was done, I put my journal under a bunch of heavy books, and now you can't really tell that there's just a small amount of wrinkling. It's not that bad anymore. So don't be like me and erase more carefully. And then on to my first full weekly spread. Like I said before, I'm doing kind of what has become my standard layout, where I have a long box for each day. And I like the long boxes because I tend to have a lot of like to-do list items. So that kind of encourages the list format. And then I have my mood tracker and sleep tracker in the last box. I feel like this layout is very efficient, so there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe in weeks where I'm busier, I might allow myself to take up more pages with my days. Now I'm just adding in this kind of simpler, more like doodle style ferns and I guess berries. I don't really know what the round plants are meant to be. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the other weeks as decoration, because I want it to feel like each week is kind of new and different, so that will be a good creative exercise to try and make it look different than this week and the previous week. So we're getting pretty close to wrapping this up, and I would love to know what theme you chose to do for January, and if it matters to you, if that goes well with your overall 2020 theme, or if the theme has to convey like a certain attitude or idea to you. So yeah, I really struggled to pick a theme this month, but overall I'm happy with what I chose, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Here's a quick flip through of the whole month, and I just want to thank you so much for watching. And if you liked this video and you want to see more, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.